All right, everybody, welcome to the Public Nuisance Podcast. I am honored to have Tim Grimm here, legendary, and with me I have CC De Leon, and I have over here the man, Ezra Brooks. And
he is the man.
He is the man. But hey, we have a big show tonight, and the Grimm, he's here, man. So introduce yourself, bro.
I'm Tim Grimm. I'm original member of the Grimm. I started the band when I was 15, I think, in 1983.
So you're part of the original Nardcore. You're like,
yeah, definitely. We, I think we were all on Mystic Records back then, and I think how we got it on, the Grimm and RKL, Ill Repute, Dr. No, all of us were playing shows together when we were pretty young, and I grew up in the Valley. That's where the Grimm's from, and I grew up in the band's from Woodland Hills, in Canoga Park, actually. But anyways, I got a call one day from Doug Moody, and Doug Moody, who owned Mystic Records, said, "Hey, I got a band stuck in Calabasas, broken down," and it was Kyle Toucher and the Dr. No guys, and long story short, I went and helped them, and they were on their way to Hollywood to record their record. I think it was Plug-in Jesus. And we've all been friends since.
that's cool, man. So cool.
Yeah.
So, I know you guys been around for a long time doing your thing, man. Did you ever think when you were 15 that, music would take you this far and
No. I didn't think I'd be at 55 still playing in my band. But also, it's been fun. I mean, it gets me away from everything.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Especially, because a lot of people say, "Oh, Miss Olson, they got a lot of punk shows and they're doing this and that," and what they don't understand is, a lot of these guys in these punk bands, they're professionals too. You know what I mean? They have their own jobs. They're making a bunch of money in the private sector, and they're just doing this for fun and keeping the tradition alive. And it's really cool. They don't understand. They think this whole like.
I never thought any of this would still be going on when I was still in the band. I put out a record when I was 15. So I never thought it would be going on. And then I ended up touring for years. I had a van with No Effects and Bad Religion, because Bad Religion was from the Valley. And I just kept going. And now I work in production my whole life now. I work for a guy, it's Half-Life Nation, and he owns it. But, yeah, I run shows. That's what I do. I bounce all over the U.S. running shows. Aretha Franklin's...
Aretha Franklin, yeah.
I did her shows before she died, a couple of them, out in Milwaukee and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Yeah, but
she is amazing, a legend.
She was classic to work for.
Really?
Yeah. She's like being with your grandma.
Really?
Totally. She runs the show.
That's great.
Everything's cash.
Mm-hmm. When's the last time you guys have actually been on a tour?
Well, before COVID, we just do weekend runs. Like we go out to Arizona, Vegas, stuff like that. I think we went out to Hawaii with Youth Brigade. Did a few nights over there, and we just do stuff on the weekends. We go up to Vegas too a lot and play punk rock bowling. We played a few times, and we're lucky. We get to play a lot of shows. But right now, I'm just working the band back up since COVID.
Yeah. So Ezra, he's been telling me all day, man, Tim Grimm's coming in. You gotta get him on the podcast. This guy's a legend. He's a legend. All about. So
Yeah.
give me an old school story, man, because you guys know each other.
Band's on fire right now too. He's got his new crew, and I grew up with a drummer. I knew some of those kids from where I'm from, and which is Carpinteria. And I remember buying his record in 1984 when it first came out or whatever. It was the first record I ever bought. It was like $4.98. I got it at a what's that name? Sound Factory in Santa Barbara.
You did? Yeah.
That was the first record I ever
Dude,
bought.
I
I'm a
was
total
so
record.
young, and we were getting
young,
offered
too. It was 80,
tours
yeah.
back then.
I was like 12.
16, 17 to go to New York and stuff with the Circle Jerks, and I was like,
Wow.
my parents were like, "No, he can't go."
At the time, though, I didn't really know, about the band as much, but I had the Nardcore record, and the Grimm was on it, and we were listening to KCSB.
Yeah, I think
RKO
we used to go
live.
play up there.
Yeah,
in the
probably heard it
studio.
live. I was like, what? There's this record I heard. This one I can afford. It's $4.98. You know what I mean? So You know, I was like 12 years old. And so my first record was this, you know, the orange one. It's orange, and it's in that movie Pretty in Pink
Pretty
in
in
the
Pink,
background. So everybody always talk about that.
Yeah.
Look, it's a
I,
great record.
I saw it the other day when I was flipping through my DirecTV.
That must bring back memories or something. You're like, whoa, shit.
Yeah, it does. I think the craziest thing about being a punk rocker when you're a kid, I was like 13 or 14. Like, God, he was even younger when he got into punk. And all the people, like, I used to read the Flip Side magazines and all the punk mags back then because we didn't have computers and stuff. I mean, you had to send out your demo in the mail. We all had P.O. boxes. We'd get fan letters and stuff.
Yeah.
And now everything's just instant. But I think for me is like all the people I looked up to, I ended up becoming friends with.
That's pretty cool, man.
Especially if we stuck around the area, you know.
How does it feel that now so many people look up to you?
No one does.
No.
I don't know. I mean, my wife and kids, I tell them about it and they just laugh
I give
at me.
respect to where the music came from. You know, the music came from a place that, you know.
You
everybody-
guys do. It's rad. But
Yeah.
at home, it's not like that.
Yeah, your kids could
Oh,
care
shit.
less. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
They
Like,
want to listen to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Oh, at
Well-
home, right?
Well, you should give a shout out to your kids.
Hi, Peyton. Hi, Claire. Hi, Kate.
Yeah.
They won't watch it.
You
Only
never
back
know.
that Green Day record.
I think we got to sit on that one for 10 years.
So a question I like to ask every artist, you know, on the podcast is, you know, I'm trying to catch them off guard, but what influenced you to get into punk, get into music in general? Like, what was your thing? Was it your parents?
What about some of the bands too? Some of the bands would be cool.
You're like, dude, I gotta get into this.
When I was in 8th grade when I started getting into punk, some guys at my school that I went to, they said, let's go down to Devonshire Downs. This is in Northridge. So the Circle Jerks and Bad Brains were playing. And I was like in 8th grade. And I saw HR from the Bad Brains in his prime. And I went, oh my God, that's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. And that's really what got me into it. And then I started going to more and more shows and in the music. And now as I'm older, though, before COVID, we were playing a lot of shows with a band called the Subhumans from England. And we were doing out-of-town shows with them, and they blow me away. They're older than me,
That other Subhumans, right?
the English ones. I
Were
think
they
they
from
just
Canada?
play.
Or, oh no, English. Yeah, England.
England,
Okay.
I
There's
think
another
it's-
Subhumans from Canada.
There's two of them.
And
But
but the English, yeah.
You played drums for Bad Brains for a while, didn't you?
I played drums for HR. Bad
He was
Brains,
with
yeah.
HR.
Yeah, for 3 years or whatever. But that was epic.
You play drums for a lot of people.
Seeing you.
Funny story, man. I was back in Maryland, and I didn't know any of the scene out here. This kid, Seamus, that was working for me, he's good friends with HR, and then was doing a documentary on HR's life, you know, with his mental health and everything. And he's talking to Ezra, and I hadn't even met Ezra. This is years before I moved out here. And then, you know, then I told him, hey, I'm moving out here, and he's like, oh, look up Ezra, you know. Well, now Ezra's, you know, booking all the shows and everything, you know,
That's a trip.
helping.
That's
He's,
way-
ma-
that's-
he's making the whole
that's
scene
small
here.
world
This whole
shit.
I
scene.
remember when I
Yeah.
was living down here.
Yeah.
What was that one club at the end of Main Street on
The Drink.
The Drink or whatever it was, and you were playing there with him, and he was just outside, all aloof by himself.
Everybody
I'm
knows
like, dude,
Ezra.
what's up?
I
No,
was
seriously.
walking around with him in Baltimore one day, and man, he was out off his rock.
Oh, I was on the
But he's
road
the
with
mo-
them.
I mean,
wow.
he has so much influence on
Oh, yeah.
punk rock in the whole world.
I saw him in '86 in Reno at a place called Daughter Judy's. And that I was 14, and then I had Liberty
It blew
Spikes.
you
and
away, huh?
It blew my mind. I mean, I already listened to the tape so many times that I was kind of like whatever. And then when I saw him live, I was like, what? It never got burnt on.
I mean, but the LA punk scene back then was amazing.
So yeah, when you saw that was probably '83 or something.
And then we had the Nardcore scene up here. We started playing up here with the bands, and then we would play with RKO a lot in Santa Barbara.
RKL's another one of those bands.
But-
Like, wow.
The punk scene in LA back then in the early 80s was pretty crazy, but I was little. So
It was
still
not
am.
like you could just step in. You know, I remember it was kind of scary. I mean, even I was a
because we
grommet
were
with the-
so young.
It was
yeah,
too, but it was still scary though.
but
I
it
had my
was
skateboard.
great.
If anything popped off, I just ran away and jumped on my skateboard.
They used to have
Like,
shows
just
down
get
at the
crazy.
Olympic down in LA
Sure.
that were pretty intense.
Yeah,
But
what's
we- I
scary
mean,
is those mosh pits.
It was just scary in general. Anywhere you were, I mean, it was scary. It
Some
probably had
great-
something to do
great
with
bands,
the age
yeah.
thing, but
We started out playing Hollywood at a club called the Café de Grand, and then all the other Nardcore bands started playing down there. We used to play there on a Tuesday night. They called it Dunker Night or so, I remember. And like I'm still in high school, and I'm telling my mom I'm going down to play a show, and
She's probably like, what the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing?
but we used to play parties in the valley, and they would be huge in helicopters. And finally, one day, a police officer came up to me and said, "You guys got to clip it. No more, or we're gonna come take all your gear." They said.
Oh, really?
So we ended up going down. That's when it all started.
Enforcing that noise law.
Well, dude, that's awesome, man. Well, look, hey, man, you know, I know you're busy. You got a big night in front of you, man. But
Thanks for
hey,
having us.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
dude. I can't wait to see you
Definitely.
guys fucking tear it up.
You
bro.
guys should get
Thank you,
Casey in
Tim.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
He'll do it.
Cool. Hey, everybody, guys. Hey, you're gonna see this live on that's being streamed on Facebook. Go back, get their music, check them out. They've been around for a long time. I'm sure a lot of you've already seen them. And again, Tim, thank you so much,
Thank
brother.
you so much. I think we're on Instagram now too.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.